Welcome back to another episode of the Pro Series Podcast. This is episode 68 and the first episode of 2023. We are starting off with Laura Clementi. She is the creator, founder, and owner of Laola Chimes. It's a chime company. She tells me why she created the company and what are the benefits of chimes. She actually sent me a few you can see behind me. We talk about the benefits that most people know chimes as something you kind of send to someone that passes away in your family. But there's so much more to chimes that she tells me about, like the one behind me. So stay tuned, check her out on social media. But before we go and do that, please make sure you like, subscribe, and review this podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps out the future of this podcast. But now I hope you enjoy episode 68 with Laura Clementi from Laola Chimes. Hello, Laura. Thank you so much for joining me on the Pro Series podcast.
Hi, how are you, Eric? Good morning.
Yeah, I'm excited because we first met over Instagram, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
You reached out to one of my posts, I think. You made a mention. Yeah.
yeah. And chimes has been something that has come up in schooling and other projects and the feng shui behind it. And there's a lot more meaning behind it than I think a lot of people just think of when you have a death in the family or something, you send up a chime. But there's a lot more to it that I don't know. So I'm looking forward to hearing from the expert as you. And I want to first start off and talk about how you started out in this business. I know you're an interior designer as well, and you have your interior design page on Instagram. Just give me a little brief on how you started out in the business and what led you into starting this chimes company.
Yeah, 100%. So I think I was born an interior designer. I moved furniture in my parents' house since I was a little girl, obsessively balancing off rooms. And I actually decided to go to school and study interior design because I was also a realtor, and I was like, this is great. It goes hand in hand. But every time I was involved with any real estate, my obsession was making the place pretty or aesthetically, making it correct. So went to interior design school. I never once had been asked or needed my degree or my certification, which is interesting. But I fell into the yachting industry because I live in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. So I did mega yachts for about 7-10 years. It was it was an amazing experience, and a different challenge in interior design altogether. And fell into feng shui. I was always intrigued with energy. And I went through a really bad time in my life with a divorce with 2 little kids, and I needed some relief in my home. And I felt like no matter how pretty my house was, it was like off balance, and some energy was impacting me that was bigger than me. So I reached out to a master, a feng shui grandmaster. His name is Angel DePara, and he kind of took me under his wing and started training me. I mean, feng shui is so complex, you'll never finish learning. But I became obsessed with it, and little by little, my home changed, my energy changed. I used to suffer from anxiety. My anxiety is controlled, and I'm just like, and that's just me doing it, not even at 100%, right? Because I won't compromise like the look of a space for a feng shui ugly product, or I won't do it because I need to love what I'm looking at.
Absolutely. So what year did you start the chime company?
So Laola Chimes was a spin-off from obviously certain products that are like super detrimental in feng shui that you need to have. So Laola Chimes started maybe the whole concept of it 3 or 4 years ago only.
Okay.
And it was in a cross path of my life as well that I was like, okay, I need this.
Absolutely. So let's get into the chimes. I know you have or you have two behind you, or I didn't see the hanging ones. I have the one that you sent me behind me. It has a little, I don't know what you would call them, the sticks that have wealth, love, and health. I want to get a little bit on that. Are they built differently, or is it just part of the feng shui? Like how does that work?
So the reason that one was created was because a lot of people don't have a home where they could actually hang a wind chime, or they're renting, or they're in an apartment. And I felt the fact that you can inject your energy into that chime with grabbing the proper stick to what you need in your life. Everything's intentional, right?
Yeah.
So you're having a bad day, you need a good business deal to happen, meditating and grabbing that wealth stick and getting that tone right. It literally clears the air. It makes you focus. So I wanted something a little more intentional and something that you could actually put anywhere, including a balcony.
Yeah. So when you do this, is there a certain way to do it? I've seen like TikToks and people just like going crazy on them.
Yeah, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
obviously, yeah. So
it's
what?
supposed
How
to
are
slow
you?
you down.
Yeah, how are you supposed to do it?
So, I mean, that's one of the big things people grab and they just go crazy at it. That is crazy energy. The whole point is that you're trying to clear the energy in a room. You're trying to funnel the energy properly. So for me, I grab the stick that resonates at that time for me. So let's just say it's love. And you hit it one at a time, and you let that tone, first you get that tone correctly, because no matter, depending where you hit it, you get different tones. They're sound engineered as well, but that tone that just kind of lingers, you want that to happen. And you just let it sound out, and then you hit the next one and you let it sound out, and by the time you're done, the energy in the room is clear.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
how about with the hanging ones behind you? I think we on our call a couple weeks ago, you talked about that being you'd want something in your back of your home, and that's because that's where all the energy starts or comes in.
Yeah, so there's sectors in a home, in feng shui, and I'm not going to get too technical because it's very overwhelming, but
Oh, yeah.
there's sectors in your home that live there, and there's also flying stars that move around those sectors in your home monthly, daily, right? So you're not going to be moving around a wind chime every 5 seconds, but if you look at your sectors for the year, or where the energies are, there's
Mhm.
always two, like, I wouldn't say bad stars, but destructive stars, that it's always good to have a wind chime. But regardless of all that, at the end of the day, the energy and the traffic come through the front door and leave through the backyard, right? That balance. So at the very least, having those two wind chimes in your home are going to already impact your home. It's clearing energy. It's like I said, it's activating, it's funneling energy, suppressing whatever is needed, but it's cleansing. It's basically cleansing. Think of all the people that come visit you at your house that bring whatever they have going on, right?
Mhm.
So at the very least, in the front and the back of your home, it's really important to have wind chimes.
Okay. And then what is the difference between the one behind me that you physically hit to get the chime and then the wind chime? Are they it, taking the energy away in a certain way, like different
I
ways?
mean, they both, wind chimes act for, for the same purposes, for the same cures. It's just one you can hang and let the wind itself do the work.
Mhm.
And they have wood and metal, so they represent, they represent metal and wood for the elements of feng shui. So, and then they have the stone, which brings a little more earth into it,
Yeah.
right? You can't have fire because they'll go on fire, but you trying to represent as many of the elements from feng shui as possible was my intent.
Okay.
And also, as an interior designer, I could not find a wind chime that I was proud to display in my house, as if it was a piece of jewelry, if it was something that I enjoyed looking at, and that's how Laola came about.
So bring me back to when you first made your very first chime. Are you dealing with an engineer or how are you do? Are you drawing it up and just kind of send it to a company to design or
I
make?
So honestly, I went on Amazon and went crazy, could not find anything. And it was really intentionally for my house only.
Okay.
And I started sketching. And I mean, I came up with like 30 designs of something that I would love. And production of a product is so hard. And it was so educational for me for like, 2 years at least. I was just sketching, doing prototypes, finding the right people, my contacts through the yachting industry with like real custom work, real, metal work. They facilitated some of my samples at the beginning. It was a very big learning process. I truly enjoyed it. I love learning, but it was very stressful. But I love the creative part of it, right?
Yeah.
So eventually, yeah, I found the sound engineer, gave me all the spreadsheet of how sound works. I mean, it was like overwhelming. Finding the right wood that wouldn't go bad, in that environment without going too crazy, making it the pricing of it, making it somewhat affordable for a regular person like any of us to be able to at least own one or two of them. So yeah, there was a lot to it.
Yeah. And then I know off camera we talked about, you sent me the outdoor one that's behind you as well with the wood. And we talked about like how my backyard is just like a wind tunnel of how the houses are set up. And you had some tips and tricks on displaying that without maybe, so my concern was to annoy my neighbors because of how windy it is. I walk out into my patio and there's millions of leaves there every day, no matter what. What do you have on that? Can we place it inside the back door or?
Yes, you can. So there's a couple things about it. Laola chimes were also designed to not over chime because they do have a reputation of either people love chimes or hate chimes. Forget the understanding of what their purpose is.
Mhm.
Either people are obsessed with them or people just completely dislike them.
Yeah.
So and for me as well, if I'm going to need to hang them in several places in my house, I don't want my house to sound like a musical, instrument. So
Yeah.
they don't over chime, they chime as needed. And I would recommend either hanging it higher, so don't let it drop too low so that the wind doesn't catch it too much. Maybe somewhere tucked in a little corner, but a bit higher so the wind catches it, but not so much. In
Okay.
fact, having the wind tunnel that you have going on, the way you explained to me that your townhouses are lined up, you actually should have one in every corner to break because you have a lot of energy going on. You need to right, tone it down a bit.
See, this is a whole side of design that no one really thinks of. You can make a pretty space, but even if you move into a house, sometimes you feel something's off.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like home. Um, and I feel like people just think, hey, I just need a new place or I just need a redesign. But in another way, there's another way out that, a lot
100%.
of people aren't exploring.
And it's not just with chimes. I mean, chimes is one of them, but I'm getting into like maybe 10 products that are like essential to a house and to the home's energy.
Mhm.
Without, let's just say you don't have the funds to rehab your house or change your furniture, or it's how you lay furniture, it's the balance of things, it's water fountains, it's wind chimes, it's baskets. There's a gazillion things, but the clocks, moving clocks, are detrimental to the center of a house.
Mhm.
So when people go into my projects, it's not so much, oh my God, I love what you did. It's, I love the feeling. That's what I consistently get, and that's what drives me.
Oh, absolutely. Because people I mean, you look at it on HGTV, a design might look aesthetically pleasing, but it might not actually feel good in the space.
Correct.
That's probably the best compliment you could get as a designer.
Yeah, it's true, because people live in their houses. They want to feel, it might look pretty at first, but is it comfortable? Is it functional? Does it feel right? And the feeling in your house is everything. We spend so much time, especially with COVID, after COVID, so much time in our homes.
Yeah, I mean the look is great, but
Mm.
you're designing a space for comfort for that person. That's their safe place. So
Exactly.
feeling should always come first, and that's we talk about this sometimes in the podcast about how a good designer will ask a lot of questions, figure out how the customer's feeling, and it's usually negative on the space once you first go there. On That's the main reason why they called you. You're coming there to design for them to make it better. But I guess a lot of designers kind of skip that step of making the feel that they want instead of just the vision of the look.
And I feel that, some designers also do it for themselves. And at the
Oh,
end of the day, that house is not yours. So you
yeah.
have to take into account what they like and what they need and what they're asking you for.
Yeah. I always say don't do it for the portfolio, do it for the customer. Uh,
Correct. Yeah.
yeah. And I think people are in this day and age, like with Instagram and social media, we want that pretty picture.
Yeah, we want to post that nice picture of our living room.
Yes, but I would rather have a client review than a picture.
Yes. I
That's
get messages, and I'm sure you do as well. And it's usually, oh my God, I can't believe this is my home and it feels so good. And I love coming home now. And those text messages or reviews to me are the reason I do what I do. It's everything, because that's what not struggled with, but I mastered making a house beautiful. I wanted to make it a home. I wanted to make it energetically correct. And so when I got that combination for myself, I wanted to share it. And every design of mine, at the end of the day, your gift is my wind chime. I will hang it in the right place and I will leave you with the right energy.
absolutely. So do you think your interior design business will take a step back when with this growing chime company?
I hope not. At the end of the
Okay.
day, it's the chime is one of the tools needed, right?
Mhm.
So but I do want to work on how to access more people, maybe through a course, maybe through a little education with the items needed. And here's your traditional package, here's your modern package, but at the very least, get me these 5 products and I'll tell you where to put them.
Mhm.
Um, but I love design. I mean, that's my passion. So I hope they kind of merge together as one.
Yeah. I mean, this now thinking about that, the educational class would be great because usually a lot of designers, at least the designers I know, they gift something to the client when the project's over. And what better way is one of these chimes?
Yeah, to me, you're leaving great energy. You're leaving them basically good luck. It's sealing the home with that, which is my intent, right?
That's
They're also customizable. You can have them engraved. So that's really cool for messages or gifts. Um,
absolutely.
Congratulations, the year they closed on the house. There's, like you were saying, for funerals. Unfortunately, people give them for funerals, I guess, because the wind keeps the energy of their memory alive, which is a beautiful thought as well. But they were intended for aesthetically pleasing energy at home.
Yeah. So what is the future of the chime company? Are you expanding to more chimes? I know you mentioned a little bit more on different products.
I would love to. Yes, I need to add more products to my line. I have a slew of designs.
Yeah, I
Um,
bet.
so I will be coming out with different designs as well.
Awesome. So I want to end with where people could find you on social media and then where they could find your chimes, a website, and where they could purchase them.
It's simple. Laola Chimes, both for social media and for the website, www.laolachimes.com.
Awesome.
LOALA.
Awesome. Well, Laura, it was great talking to you this morning. I can't wait to listen to a learning session from with you with on feng shui and then the chimes and stuff. I hope you do like a live seminar or something.
Oh, we love that. Thank
Yeah.
you. It was
Yeah.
very
Well,
good. Thank you for having me.
yeah. If you ever do anything like that, let me know. I'll definitely promote it.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well,